Hey guys, it's Matt. After this video, you have secured your WordPress website once and for all, so you never get hacked. We will be starting with the free version and then I will be upgrading to the pro version, plus you get a discount if you do, and I'm gonna show you every benefit from the pro version. Let's dive in right now. To get the free version plus my personal discount code, go to wp.discount/solid. This link is of course in the description of this video and in the comment section. And then we are at the website of Solid WP. Here we can get the pro version with my discount code for 10% off, and we can download the free version first. So let's do that. Click over here, download for free. And then we click on this blue button, download. Log in to your WordPress website. Then on your dashboard, we go over here to plugins, add plugin. Click on upload plugin and select the plugin we've just downloaded from Solid Security. Now don't be confused, the zip name is called Better WP Security because that was a name they used years ago. This plugin is very old, they've been around for ages. Then we click over here on open and we click on install now. And then we click over here on activate plugin. Well done. The next step is to go over here to security and then we go to setup. Then press on allow and continue. Welcome to the setup wizard of Solid Security. I'm going to walk you through this step by step and set up all the options so your website is thoroughly secured and you will never have to look at it again. How does it work? Well, first of all, we need to tell Solid Security what kind of website we have. Do you have a simple website to promote your business? Choose the brochure. Do you have an e-commerce website? Choose this one. Why is this important? Well, you will notice in the next steps where we'll be configuring, for example, the user roles. It's very important that your visitors are not to be confused with clients that log in and shop on your website. Also, with a network to connect people and communities, very important to have the right rules and restrictions in Solid Security. For this website, I'm going to choose a brochure website. And then we press over here on scan site. And then Solid Security has already found an issue because I have uploaded this old plugin on purpose so you can see what happens. Make sure to schedule your site scan. Don't worry, we're going to update all these things. Scroll down and press on continue setup. We definitely want to enable the local brute force and also the network brute force so Solid WP can feed us with more information from the network of all connected WordPress websites. Press on continue. Then yes, we want to require strong passwords and refuse compromised password. Click over here on continue. Then we're going to allow two-factor, and if you want to require a two-factor authentication, so it's mandatory, then we need the pro version. I'm going to show you that in a couple of minutes. Press on continue. Then is this your own website or your client website? In my case, it's my own website, so I'm just going to click on this one. Yes, we want to enable Security Check Pro. Press on next. Here we can whitelist your IP address, so your computer is connecting through the internet and it has an IP address. So Solid Security knows, hey, this IP address is whitelisted, so you will never be locked out if you put in your password in 5 times the wrong password, for example. Then you will never be blocked and you can keep trying, or hey, I set up some other password. That's the way why you need to authorize your IP address. So click on this button, authorize my IP address, and then the IP detection, keep it on security check scan. All right, press check IP, all good, and press on next. All right, then just a summary of our settings: login security, firewall, site check, utilities, everything is good. So we press over here on next. Then we're going to click on default user groups. Then we are here, we have administrators, editors, authors, contributors, subscribers, and everybody else. Basically, this allows you to change the settings per user group. It should be something like this. The administrators are allowed to do everything but skip two-factor onboarding. So when a new administrator comes to your website, they won't be able to ignore the two-factor authentication method. They have to use it. Then we go up, we have editors and authors. As you can see, the editors require a strong password, but I don't want them to manage solid security. Well, this is pretty straightforward, but if you have subscribers on your website, but also clients or customers from your e-commerce website, you might want to enable the skip two-factor onboarding, because I don't want to nag my clients with two-factor authentication if the only thing they can do is just log in and buy some of my stuff. Then the final thing is application password. If you're not a developer and you're not connecting other services to your WordPress website, you might just also disable all of these, because it's not necessary if you use just the traditional login process. Press over here on next. Now we have to put in our from email. Now this is very important, because Solid Security will send out emails if threats are detected, or you have vulnerabilities, or some other things happening on your site. Make sure the from email is the exact same domain name as this website. In my case, this is matt@likeandsubscribe.me. Then select the default recipients of any admin-facing notifications. You might not want to send it to all administrators, but only to yourself. So select yourself and press over here on Complete Setup. Great work, the setup wizard has been completed, but we still have a lot of work to do. Go over here to Security and click on it. Then we are immediately at the settings. Now these are very important, so bear with me as we walk through all these options, and I'm going to show you exactly the right configuration for your security. Follow me step by step, because it's very important that we configure every little thing. At the global settings, we see all these things which are actually great. You can change, of course, the minutes to lockout, days to remember, but the basics are okay. What's important is to go over here and make sure that your IP address is in there. And then we also have logging. Now, logging can make your website a bit slower if you have 1 million visitors or 1,000 people trying to hack you every single day. Because if the logs are being kept in a database, it takes up a lot of space for 60 days. So you can also change it to file only. Do this if you have a lot of visitors and a lot of people trying to hack your website. If not, you're just starting out and you're not sure, just keep it on database and change this one to 30 days. That's also perfectly fine. Then make sure the IP detection is on the security check scan recommended. Check your IP. Then you can hide your security menu in the admin bar. They're talking about this one, but it's pretty important, because when something happens, there will be a number 1 in there and you can see what's going on. Then we press on save and we scroll all the way up and we go over here to features. On the features, we can first change the two-factor settings. Click on it. We now have all methods recommended, but you can also choose all except email or select the methods manually. If you do them manually, you can enable or disable mobile apps, email, or backup authentication codes. Well, personally, I don't like the backup authentication codes because they probably get lost. So I would use a mobile app and your email as a two-factor authentication. On the setup flow, we can change the onboarding welcome text that will be shown when people try to log into their WordPress website. I think it's fine, but you can change it whatever you want. Then we go over here to Firewall. Then we go over here to ban user settings and enable the default ban list from hackrepair.com by Jim Walker. Really great. All is good, so close this one. Then we go to the Firewall rules engine settings. Well, these are all great, so we don't need to change them. Go to local brute force, and this one is really powerful. Automatically lock out the admin user, unless you are the admin user. Why do you need to block that? Well, the admin username is like the standard username being used of all standard installations of WordPress worldwide. So that means it's an easy target, and automated bots are constantly trying to hack you with the username admin. So make sure to lock them out and make sure that you don't have the admin user. If you don't know, just go over here to users and then we go to all users. Then see your list, and if there's a username called admin, you have to change it. But if you are logged in, you cannot change your username. You have to create a new user. So press on add user, create a new username, not admin, put in an email address that's not affiliated with the account you already used to log in, fill everything in, generate a password, put this on administrator and add the user. Then log in with this new user and delete your old user, change the email if you want that, change password, and that's all good. That's the way you should do it, because admin is the worst username you can have within WordPress. Then this is all good, so we press over here save and scroll all the way up and we go to the site check. You can also monitor file changes on your WordPress website. However, with every update, you will also get a message that files have been changed. So it can be useful, but not if you're going to ignore it. So unless you're a developer or you have a lot of attacks, you don't have to enable this one. But if you want to enable it, of course you can. It's more secure, but then you have to read your emails. If you don't read them and you start ignoring them, then it's just not very useful. If you want to enable them, make sure to exclude certain files and folders, for example, your caching folders. Maybe in your WP content, you have like a caching folder. Just select it. This is not a caching folder, but okay. And press over here on select. Then it will be excluded in your file change monitor. Very important to do so. I'm not going to enable the file change monitor for this website. Then we have schedules the site scan, perfect. Then we go to utilities and yes, enforce the use of SSL. Now remember, this will not get you an SSL certificate. You have to get that from your hosting company, and most hosting companies already do it by default. But this makes sure that all connections to your website are made through SSL, but it can help deflecting some hacks. Then we also have the database backup. If you enable this one, we can schedule our database backup. Now, this is very useful to do so, because if you are hacked, you can restore your database and all should be good. Let's configure this. The number of days between database backup. This totally depends on what kind of website you have. If you have an e-commerce website and every single day new orders come in, then you should put this on 1 or even 0. So every other day a backup will be created and emailed to you, or save locally only, or do both. This totally depends on your hosting company, how big it is, how many room you have. Do you want it via email? You can get a lot of emails, or you can just save it locally. And then again, how big is your database and how much storage do you have? If you have a simple brochure website like this one, I'm going to use a backup interval of 30 days, so every single month. That should be good, because there's not going to change a lot inside of my website. And because it's such a small website, I want to save it locally, and sure, it's over there. That's great. Then we need to specify how many backups do you want to have. Well, if my backup interval is this 30 days every single month, I want to be able to go back 6 months. So I'm going to put it on 6 backups. Should be great. Again, if you have an e-commerce website, you might want to put this on 60 so that you have 2 months if you're doing it every single day. In my case, 12 is okay. Then scroll down. Here we can include and exclude tables from your website. If you're not a developer, just keep it like this. Then it's all good. If you want to change it, that's all possible. But basically the defaults are okay. We have the Security Check Pro, so that's all right. Then we press over here on Save. We scroll all the way up and we go over here to User Groups. Well, the user groups, we've already talked about that one. Everything looks great from here, so just keep it like we configured and go over here to Notifications. Here we have the From email, that's okay, we've already set this up. Go over here to Security Digest. Well, the Security Digest is pretty interesting, but after 2 weeks, not so much. I would suggest to put this on weekly if you're going to read it. If you're not going to read it, it's just some spam, you're deleting them always, because not that many things are interesting to read. Hey, we blocked 100 people this week. Okay, but you cannot do anything with that information, it's just nice to know. Unless you're a developer and you're under heavy attack, it might be interesting to put it on daily. In my case, I'm just going to disable the entire security digest and press Save All Changes. Then we go over here to site lockouts. If someone will be locked out from your website, you also will get an email. I don't want to know because a lot of people, a lot of IP addresses will be blocked automatically by Solid Security. Then your database backup, of course, if you have set it to email, then you can configure your subject and your recipient over there. Then we go over here to the site scan results, which you should keep enabled because it will scan your site if there are any troubles. And then over here, the two-factor email, you can change the content of your emails. If you don't have a lot of people coming through your website, logging in, enabling two-factor authentication, you can just skip those two because all these emails are great, but you can also change them. Make sure to press on Save All Changes. And then we go over here to Advanced, where we need to tweak a lot of things before our website is completely secured. Go to the System Tweak Settings. Make sure all these things are enabled for the best security. And then we go to the WordPress tweaks, some very important things to change over here. For example, API access. If you're not a developer and you're not using these stupid Jetpack plugins, make sure to put this on Disable XML RPC, because this is a module that's being abused a lot of times by automated attacks. They just connect to this functionality and just start guessing passwords 1,000 per minute. It's just so fast they can do it, and you don't want that. So we're going to disable the entire feature. Unless you have certain systems that make use of XML RPC, then you should enable it, of course. But if you don't know what this is entirely, keep it on disabled. You won't miss anything. Then also for the REST API, make sure to restrict its access. Then we scroll down and you can choose how users can log in. By default, you can log into WordPress with your email address and your username. If you want to enable only emails or username, this is the place where you can do that. Then also enable the force unique nickname, and we're also going to disable extra user archives because you don't need them if their post count is 0, and it makes it harder for bots to determine usernames by guessing them. Then we are here at the hide backend settings. Now, this is not a feature to really lock down your WordPress website, but it is supposed to just annoy those script kiddies who try to log in /WP admin, and that link will be inaccessible if you press hide backend. We can hide the login slug from WP admin to anything we want. So let's change this to, for example, your domain /keys of my castle. Now remember, you won't be able to log in if you go to /WP admin. That's the whole purpose of it. You can also change the register slug, but I would just keep it the same. If not, a lot of people are going to register on your website, or it's even impossible. Then if someone tries to access /WP admin, they will be redirected to another page. In our case, you will be redirected to another challenge body, and in that page I'll show them exactly that hackers don't have access to this website. You can also create a custom login action. Could be nice if you are a developer, you know what you're doing, you can change that, or else just leave it empty. Now remember to write down this login slug, because when you push now this save button, you won't be able to log in anymore through the URL /WP admin. If you have logged out yourself, I'm going to show you how you can fix it, but remember to save this URL, very important. When you're ready, press on save. Excellent job, now the settings have been saved. Then we go over here to tools. The first thing we need to do is to identify the server IPs. Very important because it's prevent lockouts from your own server. So we press on run. There we go. You can just ignore the curl error. If you see one, that's okay. Then we need to change the user ID of number 1. If you have it, it will be changed. Very important. There we go. Then you can change the database table prefix. This adds a new layer of security that might be useful in some cases. However, the risk of doing this is also pretty high, so don't continue if you have never created a backup of your website before and this is not a clean installation. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have a backup and it's working. If you don't know how to create a backup, check out this tutorial and I'll show you exactly how to create automatic backups using a third party, which gives you a lot of ease of mind. If you have done so, press over here on Run. If you then see this cookie check failed, make sure to go over here, press on Log Out and just log in again. Go back to Security and Tools and then press Run again. And now the database prefix has been changed. Well done. Then you can scroll down and you can set an encryption key. Now this is not needed because Solid Security has set an encryption key already when installing it. You only need to reset this if you have the idea that you are hacked. So we don't have to run it right now. Then we need to create an MU plugin loader. Important, just press Run. And then we are at the Check File Permissions. Press on Run. And then we can see the permission of your files and folders on your WordPress installation. Now this all looks good, but if you can see red dots and the results are a red warning, then you have a problem. In that case, you might want to follow this tutorial over here and I'll show you exactly how to change the permissions of your installation using FTP. It's very easy and it's completely free, so you can just do that. Then we scroll down, we have the server config rules. Here you can view them or flush them. Well, most of the time this is not needed, but this will save you from a lot of bots and troubles coming your way. So we don't need to press Run because it's already been done. That also accounts for the wp-config.php rules. Leave it like that. Change the WordPress salts. You only have to do this when your website has been compromised. Well done, we have now set up all these security rules. Let's go over here to Site Scans and make sure that our website is completely safe. So we press over here on Start Site Scan. And then the results are in and everything looks pretty great. Only thing is that I don't have two-factor enabled and we'll be doing that in just a few seconds, so hold on. Basically on this page, the only thing you need to know, if you see all these check marks, then all is good. But if you see like these warnings or these red warnings, then you have a problem and you need to fix the problem ASAP. Then we go over here to Firewall. Here we can see all the threads that's been blocked by Solid Security. And we can see there's already 3 threads has been blocked since installing the plugin. If you go to rules, you can create manual firewall rules. Now, if you're not a developer, you don't need to do this, but if you want, it's possible. Then we have over here the IP management. You can also see all the banned IPs, the active lockouts and the authorized IPs, and that's your IP address if all is good. Now this list will grow in just a matter of time as a lot of hackers try to brute force your website. And they will be blocked and they will be added to this list. You can also delete them from here or you can add them manually. I have never added them manually, but it's all possible within Solid Security. If you go to configure, we can change the firewall settings. You have lockout message. Well, all the settings that we have already configured at the settings page. However, here you can just visit them again and change them a little bit further if you want that. But all is good, so let's just keep it like this. And then we go over here to a very interesting one, which is automated. If you want to have always on automated firewall protection, then Solid Security Pro, including Patchstack, is a real game changer. I'm going to show you that in just a second. There is already one vulnerability we have patched automatically. The all-in-one WP migration and backup was an old version and they have already patched it for us. So that is really great. Now let's go to vulnerabilities over here. Here we can see the integration with Patchstack. And if it has been found, it will be put in here. Then we go over here to user security. Now on this e-commerce website, you will only see yourself as an admin. But if I go over here to filter and I'm going to remove this filter, there we go, close it. Now we can also see all users, customers, subscribers, everything on your website. And as you can see at your password strength, we can see if someone have a good password, if the two-factor authentication has been enabled or disabled, when it has been last seen. So this way you can really control all your people on your website. Well, you can go to filter and you can go to password strength. And if you press apply on this, we can see all the users of our website which have a very weak or a weak password. In my case, I've used Solid Security on this e-commerce website way before this website even was live. So this way I forced strong passwords before they could even create accounts. So that makes it really good. But if you're installing this right now, you will see some of your users with very weak or weak passwords. When you see those people, you press over here on Edit User. And then you can do quick user actions. You can add them to different kind of user groups, so change the role of them. But what you basically want is to force a password reset with the new rules. They have to create strong password. That's it. You should do that, and you can do that of course with multiple people. Just click over here, quick actions, force a password reset, and you can send this out to a lot of people at the same time. I want to show you first the dashboard, so go over here. This dashboard basically contains a couple of things. Now, all these widgets might be empty on your side because you're just installing it and you don't have any threads blocked or people blocked from your website. But after a while, it looks a bit like this. We have different kind of IPs that are being blocked or banned from your website. And we have maybe a couple of lockouts. We have different kind of threads. Well, not a lot of threads, so that's actually pretty great. So basically this dashboard overview is pretty nice, but you don't need to act on it right now, unless you have locked out yourself and you can see your IP address over here, active lockouts. There's only one way to get back into your website if you have locked yourself out, and I'm going to show you at the end of this tutorial. And the last thing on the dashboard is over here, the Patchstack vulnerable software. Now, Patchstack is a software company, the fastest mitigation for security vulnerabilities. So before anybody can misuse a vulnerability in one of the plugins you have on your website or WordPress core, then it's already patched by Patchstack. So that is really powerful and useful. What I also like is that they actually show you what is going on with the plugin or theme that is very old. In this case, the old plugin that I've installed is vulnerable with PHP object injection, also the arbitrary file deletion, cross-site scripting, and sensitive data exposure. Maybe I should update this plugin. The last thing I want to show you before setting up the two-factor authentication is over here the logs. If you look over here, we can see different kind of colors. We see warnings, yellow, and we see the red one, and those are critical. In our case, we had a side scan 3 days ago, and we can see the vulnerable software. Yes, I've recorded this on Friday, and now it's Monday, so I did 3 days ago. And you can see we had vulnerable software. So this is something to work out. We click on View Details, and you can see, you can press on Show Details. You can see exactly what kind of plugin was the problem, but this you can also see at over here at vulnerabilities. So this is basically more a log of the things that's going on. You can also go here to all events. Here you can see notices, warnings, critical issues, side scans, brute force attacks over here, and well, basically everything that's going on your website. Could be interesting to see, but now you know where it is. Alright, it's time to set up our two-factor authentication. How are we going to do that? Pretty easy. Go over here to Users and go to Profile. Then we scroll all the way down. You can see your own profile in here, and we see now a new section, Security Two-Factor Authentication, and we press over here on Enable. And then we press over here on Continue, and then we can choose our different kind of two-factor methods. Of course, we want to use a mobile app. To enable this, click over here on this arrow, click on it, and then we can choose iOS or Android. Then you need to pull out your phone and get your Authenticator app. If you don't have it, head over to the Apple Store or the Play Store, press on Search and search for the Authenticator app. There we are. We have different ones. I usually use the Microsoft Authenticator and the Google Authenticator. So I have two different ones for client and WordPress websites, and ones for services like Dropbox, Amazon, Google, and all these things. So let's use the Google Authenticator. If you don't have it, install it now, and then we press on open. Then you can see I already have a lot of websites running. They have been blurred out because of security reasons, of course, but you can click over here on this plus icon down here, and we press on scan QR code. And now you can basically use your phone to scan a QR code with it. So point it right at the QR code on your screen. There we are. And now at the bottom, the title of your website has been added in my case, please like and subscribe. And you can also see the email address of the user it has been used for. After you've scanned this, you go over here to your website and you press on continue. And then we have to fill in the authentication code. Here we go. So now we have 30 seconds to fill it in. And then we press over here on verify. Well done. Now we have enabled the mobile app. However, you need to have two-factor authentication methods because maybe my mobile phone has died or I can't reach it right now, or I don't know, something else happened. So we need to have two of them. So for the next one, I would advise you to use email. Just press enable. And because they already have your email, it already works. And then the last option is backup codes, a list of one-time codes you can use if you lose access to all your devices. So you can just print it out, put it in your safe, can't be burned or can't get wet. And that's the way you can also use two-factor authentication. Then we press over here on continue and press on complete. Now when you try to log in, you always have to fill in your two-factor authentication code. Now if we go up here, we can see this red dot. You can click on it and we can see all these things that has been happening. We can close it. Beautiful, we are all safe now. When I log out and try to log in with my WordPress website, I always have to fill in my authentication code or use a backup method. That's it. Now your website is completely secured and you can sleep well. But what about the Solid Security Pro? I'm going to show you that right now. To get a 10% discount on your Solid Security plan, go to wp.discount/solid. Link is in the description and also in the comment section. All right, make sure to copy this coupon code. Right click on it and press copy. And then we press over here to get the Pro version. Now, to know why you need the Pro version, just scroll down. We can see over here a comparison table. That's really great. They all have these features, but you also have access to Patchstack, the virtual patching, like I've shown you, very powerful. We can also use passkeys, like these little guys, for more secure logins without a password, if you want that. We can also use magic links and passwordless login. You have trusted devices, so you can just block different devices that you don't know. Session hijacking protection, very important, because this is something that has been done lately a lot, especially for content creators. You just open up a PDF file or some other file and then they hijack your browser cookies. Then they just open up the browser on their PC with those cookies and it just looks like it's you. And they can log in and do everything on your website like you have never logged out. So this hijacking protection is very, very important to have. We have temporary privilege escalation, so someone can be temporary an editor or an admin if you want that. Version management, also pretty nice. Protect login registration, password resets from bots. Real-time WordPress security dashboard widget settings, import, export. Well, all these things is really nice, but what I mostly like over here, except for the things we already done, are refuse compromised password. All these things are very important to thoroughly secure your website. If you have, for example, an e-commerce website, this is not just nice to have, it's needed to have. So we go over here and we press on Go Pro. Now we can select how many sites we need to secure with Solid Security Pro. As you know, the more you get, the cheaper it gets for the entire year. And press over here. Then make sure to put in your coupon code over there and press on apply to get the 10% discount. And then press over here on checkout. Then we press over here, continue as guest, fill in your email address and agree to the terms and condition and we press on continue. Then fill in all your information and press over here on continue to checkout. Then fill in your payment information and press over here on submit payment. And then Solid WP will process our order And then we see this screen and we press over here on download. Then on your WordPress website, go over here to plugins, add plugin. And select the file we have just downloaded, iThemes Security Pro, and press on open. Then we press on install now. And then of course we press on activate plugin. There we go, and then we can see this. Multiple versions of Solid Security are active. Please disable all extra versions. So we can deactivate the basic version, press on skip, and then we can click over here on delete and we press on OK. And then we only have the Solid Security Pro plugin on our website. Excellent job. Let's go over here to site scans. We can see we have multiple options now for inactive users and rogue installs. So we press on start site scan and it will now scan our website again, but way more thoroughly than with the basic version. And again, well done, nothing has been found on our website. Then we go over here to security and we go to settings, because we have a lot of more things we can do right now with the Pro version. If we go to features, we can also now enable the passwordless login. There we go. How we can do that? We can use magic links. Email users are magic links. They can use the login one click, or passkeys like Face ID, Touch ID, Windows Hello, or any passkey your device support. You can enable or disable this by default, and we can use method first or first username. You can do both. We can also choose to require those passkeys. Really great. If you want to use the functionality to give some users more privileges, you can enable this one, and then all administrators are allowed to do that. I'm going to show you in just a second. And then we can also enable trusted devices. Then when a user logs in as an admin, but it's not from a device we recognize, he has never used it before, you can restrict these capabilities, so prevent them from editing their login details. Very powerful. And also make sure to enable the session hijacking protection. It really makes it very, very thoroughly secure. And then we go over here to Firewall. If you scroll down, we can also use Captcha. You can also protect your login screen from bots, so they have to solve the Captcha before they can log into your website. We can use multiple providers. I would go with reCAPTCHA 2. It's like the click I'm not a robot, but you can always use 8CAPTCHA. And you know, with HCAPTCHA, you have to solve a puzzle before you can enter in your login details. I think you do know how HCAPTCHA works. If not, press over here to add a new site. First, you need to register and log in, of course. Then we can create a reference for this site. Press on this plus item, add in your domain, and then we scroll down. We have an always challenge because it's a free account. And we press over here on save. Make sure to fill in your site key and your secret key, and then we can protect different kind of actions. Use on login, use on new user registration, use on reset password, and use on comments if you want. Then when you scroll down, we can also change the appearance to change it from light to dark, the widget size, GDPR opt-in, and an on-page opt-in. And then of course, we can also change the lockout error threshold. So this is really, really secure to make sure no bot is ever trying to log in on your website. So I'm really happy with this one. Then the next thing I want to show you is at utilities, we can change the geolocation right now. You can enable this, and then we can use the free service of MaxMind GeoLite 2. So sign up over there, get an API key, put it in, and then download this database. Now, the database is offline and it enables you to check if someone that's trying to log in is from somewhere inside of your country or from another place of the world. Because I never have people logging in from outside of the Netherlands. So I can just easily change that so no one can be logging in from another place than the Netherlands. Of course, they can use a VPN service, but again, this is a really powerful layer of security that makes logging into your website really hard if you're not from the same country. So make sure to turn it on, get your MaxMind GeoLite 2 API key, download the database, and put it up. Once you're done, press on save, scroll up, and then we go to notifications. And then we have a couple of more notifications now on the Pro version. For example, we have unrecognized logins. If you have enabled the trusted devices, you can now log in from unrecognized device. A really good feature which enables you to quickly respond if you can see, hey, someone's logged in, maybe this user account has been compromised because it's not from their normal device. Then you can also change the magic link lockout bypass. Here we can change the email that will be sent with your magic link. If we scroll down, we can also see the inactive users, which is pretty interesting. This notification makes sure you receive a list of all the users that have not been logged in or not been active in the last 30 days, so you can demote or remove those users. This is very useful if you are working with a lot of clients, a lot of different websites, and sometimes you need to give someone access to your website, and after the 30 days, they won't be logged in because they're fired or they don't work with the company anymore. This is a very powerful feature to have. So enable this one, and then we go to automatic updates info. If you enable this one, you also get automatic emails to all admins or just to you, and then you receive an email with the summary from all automatic updates that has been done on your website. Press save all changes. Then if we want to enable Patchstack, we need to go over here to settings and go to solid WP licensing. Click on it. The only thing we have to do is press over here on save. Fill in your solid WP username and your password we have just used when buying this product. And then we press over here on license products. And then we can see that our website, likeandsubscribe.me, is now registered also and licensed with Patchstack. If you now go to security and you go to vulnerabilities, you can see that virtual patching is now active. Finally, we go over here to settings and we go to user groups. And then we go, for example, to administrators. If we scroll down, we have also some more options now. We can change the password age, require users to set a new password after an expiration period has passed. So every 30 days, they need to reset their password for maximum security. If we scroll down, we can also require two-factor authentication. So they are forced now. So that's pretty good. We can also allow remembering device, so they won't be prompted with a two-factor authentication code for the next 30 days. This is very useful if you log into your e-commerce website every single day and need to handle all the orders and all those things. Then we can also activate this activity monitor, track when a user logs in, save content and makes changes to your site's software. Perfect, just keep it on. And then we also have enabled the trusted devices for all admins. Beautiful. Press save. And now when you try to log into your website, you still need to use the I am human. So then we need to click on the numbers that are equal. Well, the 0 is equal, of course. And then we have also 2 5s and no. So press on verify. Then you are a human and we can press on login. And then you have to also fill in your authentication code. So this might be useful to just remember this device for 30 days so you don't have to put this code every single time. So what should you do when you have been locked out of your own website accidentally? There's a fix for that and I'm going to show you. The first thing you need to do is log into your hosting company. On your hosting dashboard, we go over here to databases because we have to remove our IP address from the database that has been blocked by Solid Security. So we scroll down and we can see different kind of databases, but I need this one, which is linked to my website. We press enter PHP my admin, and then we are here in the database of your WordPress website. Now we have 2 different tables that we need to follow. We have bans, but there's no row in there. And we also have lockouts, and we have 10 over here. So we click on this lockouts. You can just delete them from here. How to do that? In my case, I did it a little bit more thoroughly, so I'm just going to select all of them, and then we press over here on delete. Click on it. Yes, only these lockouts will be deleted, and press on yes. There we go. Don't delete anything else or it will be bad. If you don't see it over here, you might also be added to the bans, but in my case, I'm not. Now go back to your website and then use the URL we've just created to hide the backend. Press enter. And now we have access again to our website and we can log in with magic link, passkeys, passwords and use the Captcha to make sure that we are a human. Now rest assured, by using Solid Security Pro now on your website, you are completely secured as thoroughly as it can be. so you can sleep well tonight. If you have any questions, drop it down in the comments. Like and subscribe, of course, if you want to see more videos about WordPress. Have a great day and hope to see you in this next video, which is also pretty amazing.